Hello guys, this is Dr. Ch41 on your screen. I hope you're doing well. All right, guys. So today we will be starting off with HKDSE lecture, chapter 41. Okay, goes by the name "The Effects of Changes in Concentration uh, of Temperature and Chemical Equilibrium." Okay, so let's get started. My name is Dr. Ch41, by the way, and I will be helping you out with your DAC syllabus. Okay, so today we'll have, well, this complete lecture has all of this stuff covered in it. Okay, we'll go over it one by one. At the end of this lecture, you should be able to have some core knowledge about the topic, application and analysis, exam techniques, and higher order thinking. Now, let's get started. Dynamic equilibrium. All right, guys. So what is equilibrium? We'll get started with. What is equilibrium actually? If you want to define equilibrium, equilibrium actually means when basically if you have a reversible reaction, a reaction that can go in both the directions, forward as well as backwards. Because um, you might have seen reactions that are irreversible reactions, right? In irreversible reaction, there is a unidirectional flow of products, of substances from reactant to the product side, correct? However, in case of an equilibrium, equilibrium is only possible in case of a reversible reaction. Reversible reaction is a reaction that can go in both the directions, forward as well as backward. Okay. Now, when do we call it a dynamic equilibrium? Now, the term dynamic is used. Why not calling it static? We are calling it dynamic. Dynamic means things are moving. Substances are moving forward and backward. The particles are actually moving, but dynamic is indicating this fact that stuff is not stationary. It's not in one place. It's actually moving around. But the term equilibrium is used over here in order to indicate the fact that the rate at which the reaction is going forward equals the rate at which the reaction goes backward. Okay, so the term dynamic equilibrium, if you're ever asked to define dynamic equilibrium is the condition or the state that is attained when the rate of forward reaction equals the rate of forward equals the rate of backward reaction. Understood? So when the rate of forward equals rate of backward, that's when dynamic equilibrium is established. Okay, then whenever dynamic equilibrium is established, you need to understand the fact that in our syllabus, we've got some constants that we need to learn about. One of them is Kc in the DSE syllabus. Okay, Kc refers to the equilibrium constant of concentration. The C over here refers to concentration. So it basically has a formula that you need to remember, and there are multiple applications of Kc. Let's look at it. For a reversible reaction in a closed system, dynamic equilibrium can be established. Keep that in mind that it has to be a closed system, not an open system. What's the difference between a closed system, open system, and isolated system? That's a homework for you guys to do your research on. Okay, make sure to find your answers and comment down in the comment section the right answer. So forward rate becomes equal to the reverse rate. That's when dynamic equilibrium is established. The concentration of all species remains constant. It becomes constant, but does not become zero. Keep that in mind. Okay, it becomes constant, but not zero. Okay, not necessarily zero. If you look at the graph is going to go, might have been going up, but then it's going to become a horizontal line. It doesn't fall down to zero again. It becomes horizontal, it becomes flat. Similarly, if the graph was going down, it will still go flat. Okay, the graph that is declining, that's the graph of reactants. Graph that is increasing is the graph of the products. Now, can be reached from either direction. You can start with the reactants. The reactants, if you start off with the reactants, they convert into products and establish the equilibrium. Or if you start out with the products are going to decompose. They're going to break down to the reactants back. And then the macroscopic properties do not change. Either macroscopic properties are the one that you can see with the naked eye, like the color, the pressure, etc. So they do not change. Okay. Let's move on. Now, equilibrium constant, Kc, the formula of Kc. How do we calculate Kc actually? You might have studied this in chapter 40 as well, because this isn't actually something new. So let's look at it. Kc is basically, if you have this reaction going on over here, Kc is basically products over reactants. What is it? It's just Kc equals products divided by reactant. But what exactly? The concentration of products divided by the concentration of reactants. And it's not just the concentration of the products or reactants, rather it's the products raised to the power of their stoichiometric ratio. This stoichiometric ratio, do you see what's written over here with the capital C? There's a small c, right? And with the capital D, there's a small d. So the concentration of the capital C becomes a small c, and the concentration of the capital D becomes a small d. Okay, keep that in mind. And similar is the case for the reactants as well. The concentration of the reactants become raised to the power of their stoichiometric ratios. In this case, small a and small b. Okay, let me give you a quick example over here now. For example, if you are forming sulfur dioxide is combining with oxygen reversibly, because this is a well-known reversible reaction. You guys have to tell me in the comment section what reaction is this equation representing. If I were to balance this out, this is what the balance equation is going to look like. Now, this equation right over here, if I were to ask you to give me the Kc for this equation, just making it out, okay? Because we usually calculate Kp for this. Kp stands for gases. But for example, just for the sake of this example, I ask you to give me the Kc. What do you think would the Kc be? The Kc is simply going to be the concentration of SO3 raised to the power of its stoichiometric ratio, which in this case is 2, right? So to the power of 2 divided by the concentration of the two reactants to the power of their stoichiometric ratios. So SO2 to the power of 2 multiplied by oxygen to the power of 1. This is going to be the equation of Kc in this particular example. Okay, so that means the equation of Kc varies from reaction to reaction. Okay, you are also asked to calculate the units of Kc. For example, in this case, I asked you that all of these reactants as well as the products were measured in moles per dm cubed. Now asking you what's going to be the unit of Kc. What do you think would be the unit of Kc in this particular example? Can be simple. You just put in the mole per dm cube into the equation that you make for the Kc. The mole per dm cube squared divided by mole per dm cube squared multiplied by mole per dm cube again. So as you can see, the squares cancel out and the mole per dm cube in the denominator will go up. So it's going to become mole inverse dm cube. That's going to be the unit of Kc in this particular scenario. Make sense? Okay. So let's go through the bullet points quickly. Product on top, reactant at the bottom. That's a very important fact. Coefficients in the balance equation becomes the power, meaning the stoichiometric ratios basically. Remember, the equation has to be balanced. Pure solids and pure liquids are excluded. We generally take the concentration as 1. That's why they are excluded out. Okay, because even if we place 1 over here or we don't place 1, it doesn't really matter. It's the same thing. Okay. Kc depends only on the temperature. This is a very important fact, guys. Kc never changes because of the change in concentration. A lot of students find this a very confusing concept on the exam, and they usually commit this mistake on the exam. It's generally an MCQ in which they ask you what are the factors that might affect the Kc, and the answer that a lot of students mark is concentration. No, concentration does not affect Kc at all. Okay. It's the temperature that changes Kc. Okay, now what does large Kc indicate? Large Kc indicates that equilibrium will be shifted to the product side. Why? Because product is the numerator. Okay, and small Kc means the equilibrium shifted to the left-hand side, meaning the reactant side. That makes sense, guys? All right, this was a very important concept of Kc, guys. I hope you understood everything very well. And this is going to be a very high yield concept. This will be tested on your exam. All right, guys. So see you in the next lecture with something that's coming after this, inshallah. All right. I'll be ending the lecture now. Thank you. And yeah, those of you who are interested in taking one-on-one online lessons with me or group lessons with me, particularly for the HKDSE or IB or international curricula like A level or IGCSE, just drop me a text on my WhatsApp number, which is given in the description. Okay. All right. See you guys. Thank you.